What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down Intermission. I have no idea because I haven't looked. But yeah, Matt's in Iceland right now.
That's the green one.
That's the actual green one, yeah. That's where the Mighty Ducks 2 villains were from.
Of course they were.
You are genuinely already an old man because you're referencing shit. And it's the same shit every time.
How am I referencing the Mighty Ducks 2 before?
You've done the Mighty Ducks. That and Blank Check. I know your material.
What?
Blank Check.
I know Blank Check, but when the hell
You've talked
have I
about
ever
the Mighty Ducks before. I've heard it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ken. That's what I grew up on. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You're an old man sitting in a rocking chair.
Guys, this is like we aren't even 5 minutes in, and we're already fighting.
Jesus. So, on the show this week, we have Ken McGowan.
Hi.
And Anthony.
Hey, how's it going? Hey. I wasn't the one insulting Drew, so it'll just be me and Drew talking around Ken.
I'm gonna go sleep.
Go sleep then, Ken. Well, there's a couple of things we wanted to bring up. It's kind of just a shoot the shit show, but one of the big things I did want to bring up was the fact that, well, you know, in August of this year, you're not going to be able to purchase anything from the 3DS.
I know you won't be able to add funds to 3DS.
Well, then,
if I'm correct, because
if I don't have any funds on it,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, basically, your cutoff date's August. You can still purchase stuff until next year, May or March of next year. But if you don't have any funds, you can't purchase anything. So they're shutting down the store for the 3DS and the Wii U. And I did want to bring up a good, hey, maybe pick this up before the store shuts down kind of list. I picked up a lot last week. They had the Shin Megami Tensei sale.
Yeah, they had the Sega Atlas sale. Yeah.
And I got the majority of that stuff. I got all of the Shin Megami Tensei.
I mean, there's some. Yeah, I was gonna say there's some pretty easy ones to kind of cross off. I wrote them down as series. The Shin Megami Tensei series is an easy one to be like, hey, if you have any interest in those, the Shin Megami Tensei 4 is only on 3DS, and so is SMT4 Apocalypse.
Yes.
And then you have the spin-off games with Soul Hackers. It's the only English version, I think, of Soul Hackers. And that...
Strange Journey.
Well, but Soul Hackers is getting a sequel, right? So
yeah, it is.
If you want to play it, I would keep an eye out. You might want to hold off and see if they go on sale again, maybe.
What's the cutoff date to add your funds?
August.
August something.
So what happens, you'll still be able to download them, I'm assuming. Like, Nintendo's not going to...
They said they're never going to take that away.
Okay. I don't know if I believe them, but... You know.
They said for the foreseeable future, we are not going to remove the ability to download anything. They also said they're not turning off the servers for online games.
Did they say that for the Wii?
Wii U, you mean?
No, Wii.
Or the Wii.
Because it's off for the Wii, right? You can't get that shit no more?
So you can't download any purchables, anything you purchased on the Wii anymore?
The Wii was weird anyways, because the Wii, I don't think you could re-download things.
Well, it wasn't tied to an account. It was tied to the system.
It was tied to the system.
I mean, so is the 3DS to some extent, because the account is tied to a system.
True, but the Wii is straight up tied to the system. Like, there's no account system.
I don't know how that works, to be honest with you.
I thought I read somewhere that people were trying to back up all of the WiiWare stuff because it was going to not be available to download anymore.
You're going to have that with the 3DS as well. People will back it up for other things.
I just don't trust Nintendo. That's just
I don't trust anybody. I mean,
I trust Microsoft the most because it's fucking PC company.
But they've also done. I mean, yeah, they have all that from the PC era, but like they also have shown that they have a little most of the stuff. If it wasn't licensing issues that led to it down or led to it coming down, it's still up for purchase. Like, yeah, Soul Calibur 4 content isn't there anymore. DLC. The Splatterhouse.
There are some games that are gone. Yeah.
Like, and there's some games, but you can buy most 360 games even if they don't work on Xbox One. Still, that's crazy. So they've done the best job of it. Sony does a really bad job of making it accessible.
Yeah, trying to download something is a nightmare.
Because if you go to Xbox.com and type in a game name in the search bar, it'll show you the page, and you'll be able to access it's still on the new site, but like it looks like the old Xbox purchase page.
Yeah, if it's not available on the Series X.
Yeah. So they've done a really good job of making that still available. Which is weird because at some point, like, what was it, Don Matrick that said, like, we have a product for people that don't want to connect to online. It's called the Xbox 360.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit, with that.
He's a piece of shit, but like, to some extent, like, they sold a new model of the 360 when the Xbox One came out. Like,
this is true. And
that support is still going, and we're technically past the Xbox One now. The PlayStation stuff, you can't access all or see all your purchases anymore on a web page. The only place to see it is like PS3 and PS Vita.
I think that's probably tied to the same problem Microsoft had with the original Xbox Live. Because if you remember, they had to destroy the original Xbox Live because there were like, 2 or 3 games attached to it.
Yeah, Halo 2.
And was it Miss Pac-Man and something else? But like they had to get rid of that in order to allow certain things to work on the new store.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when that happened, and I think that's what Sony ran into with PS3. Like that's why they can't show it on the website anymore because they've got a new store.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but yeah, Nintendo isn't trustworthy on this either. To be fair, they only have like one generation worth that's disappeared, but
I don't know that I trust.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Stuff is going to be there. That's my concern.
And I'm going to be honest with you. The Wii stuff, for the most part, was virtual console stuff.
Yeah, people want to hang on to their Super Mario Brothers 3.
Simulators.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay, I did. That's what I just wasn't sure if there was something else important in there. But yeah, like at that point, if it's the stuff we actually lost when the Wii store closed was WiiWare titles. But like, how many WiiWare titles can you name?
I can't name them, but I know there was wasn't there a Castlevania game on there?
So the Rebirth series from Konami are commonly mentioned. There was an indie platformer called Lost Winds.
That's what I was trying to think of.
But Lost Winds came to PC.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The developer put in the effort to bring Lost Winds and Lost Winds 2, but there was like a Space Invaders game that's just gone. There was an Adventure Island, like 3D version, that's gone. And I'm not saying these games were great or anything, but like, they are gone. Now, the pirate community, as Nintendo would want to put them, has actually done a really good job of preserving these games, but they're games that didn't sell well for a system that had a size limit, and I have a feeling most of the devs either have dissolved entirely, got absorbed into other companies who don't care, or they just didn't sell well enough to see a point in reissuing them.
Yeah.
So that stuff is truly gone. And the 3DS stuff, I think we're potentially losing far greater amounts of games, like far better games too, because we have the opportunity now to kind of circumvent high prices with games that get released on both the eShop and physical. One that I know you would want to bring up, Drew, is I wrote it down. Give me a second here. Did I? Thought I did. The time one. The time travel one.
Oh, Time Hollow?
No, 3DS, Drew. You played on Phoenix Down.
Oh, the 999 stuff? What are you talking about?
My God. The RPG that's time travel that people said is like the next Chrono Trigger.
Radiant Historia.
Thank you. I thought I wrote it down, but I apparently didn't. I must have skipped over it in my list.
Yeah, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology is only on the 3DS. Now, they had Radiant Historia on the DS, but it's impossible to find now.
And the 3DS physical version is now expensive as well.
Yes.
The Shin Megami Tensei games are expensive now. The Etrian Odyssey games are expensive now. And the 3DS eShop is kind of the last way that a developer gets money for this stuff before I would just suggest piracy. And I only do that because, like, when you start paying secondhand prices for stuff, or like the absurd inflated price, like, $200 because, they didn't do a big print run. Okay, but that doesn't mean it's a $200 game.
Yeah.
Like, I could buy enough copies of this to just warrant the fact that it's now a $200 game. Because, like, Dragon Quest VII, Dragon Quest VIII, those are like $150 games now, physically. So, if you want to play a lot of JRPGs, the 3DS eShop has a ton of them.
God, yeah.
So I kind of wrote down, like, the Fire Emblem series, not my jam, but Fire Emblem series is expensive on cartridge for the most part. There's a bunch of DLC for all of them. And there's the Three Houses one. Is it Three Houses? There was the one that had the two different versions, and then there was the third. There
was a third version, too.
Yeah.
That was Fire Emblem Fates.
Oh, okay, Fates. Right, Three Houses.
Wasn't that the one you had to buy, like, something ridiculous to get the whole story or something?
Yeah, you had to buy the 3 games.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember the controversy around that of being like, you gotta spend like $150 to see this whole story.
No, the controversy was you bought the physical cartridge, and there was 3 stories, but only 2 UPCs that were found in most stores. Except for the collector's edition that was like in low print runs that had all 3 stories on like 1 cart. Or 2 carts or 3 carts or whatever it was. But it was absurd because it was super expensive and then there wasn't a lot of them.
Yeah, and then you could also, if you chose a different path at the beginning of the game, they say, oh, well, you can buy this for DLC.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nintendo, fuck off.
Me and Jay both did like a collaboration on that review.
I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah. Jay played the easier version. I got the harder version.
Well, that seems backwards. Jay should always do the hard stuff.
Yeah. I don't think it was known though which one was easier and which one was harder, right?
Yeah. No,
That's
it
true.
wasn't.
I think that was when we were still getting Nintendo stuff early until somebody pirated it and then everybody got cut off for early code.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoever that fucker is, I still want to punch him in the dick.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Fates was okay, but it was kind of scummy that they did that. Fire Emblem Awakening is superb.
That's the one where I had a lot of people. That's when I started hearing about Nintendo artificially make artificial scarcity nonsense with Nintendo. That was because that came out shortly before Amiibos, like within the year, right? And sorry,
I still have fucking Amiibos.
Yeah, I do too. It just
too many.
I remember people being like, "Well, there was only, like there wasn't a lot of Fire Emblem ones, and it's scarcity and it's artificial. Nintendo doesn't want to make more." And they said that about Fire Emblem as well. But like, I recall having Fire Emblem Awakening sitting on store shelves, like the initial 6, because they didn't even send us like a full box of 12, sitting in the store shelf. And then all of a sudden they were gone. People really wanted them. And then we had people asking for them all the time. And we were waiting for another shipment.
Do you think those were people that were actually wanting to play the game, or people that were
Yes, because I remember
oh,
I don't remember hearing a lot of people excited for Fire Emblem until like that game kind of kicked it up a notch. Because there was a Fire Emblem on the Wii, and there was a Fire Emblem on the GameCube, and there's
shit about Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, and they just weren't the biggest sellers. They didn't not sell, but they knew that they weren't going to sell a ton of them, so they didn't print a bunch of them. And they did that with the Fire Emblem Awakening. It was a niche series, and it wasn't the biggest thing in the world. And yeah, all of a sudden, like, oh wow, okay, we're selling more and more and more, and then we're sold out, and we have people asking for them. And Nintendo's like, we're giving you more.
Yeah, that was the higher profile one, because it was like, you know, they had the cutscenes, like they introduced like the really grandiose cutscenes, and it reviewed really, really well.
Let's be fair though, that series still isn't hot.
No, but it's one of those games kind of like Xenoblade where you go, wow, I didn't think that would be like a core Nintendo series.
Sure, but 3 million units for that last game is not, it's not lighting anything on fire.
No, but 3 million units for a strategy game on a console.
Yeah.
It's like, more than Xenoblade Chronicles sold.
But who would expect a console strategy game to sell that well? It's just generally not where you find the audience for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Fire Emblem's never going to be on the PC. Let's be fair.
No, but what I'm saying is like you just don't see like that audience. Like that's a strategy game.
It's also horny now, right?
I don't know. I don't play them. I just was bringing it up. I was bringing it up because, like, hey, those games are going to be locked to the 3DS. I cannot see them porting them over. I feel like that would have been an easy win, and they would have just done it already.
So what's the over-under that 3DS games will ever be like in the Nintendo Switch Online?
I doubt it, because they tried that with the Wii U, where you could actually do the DS stuff, and it's like, man, it doesn't work very well. The reason why the DS and the 3DS work well with two screens is because they're right next to each other. You can't do that with anything else. And like having them side by side doesn't work for every game. And then we're going to turn it into a vertical position, but then like Nintendo really doesn't have an official answer for the vertical position. So
reverse cowgirl.
It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen ever.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, but that's the reality of making a console that doesn't translate well to any other system other than ones that are built the same way.
It's weird to continue to call it the 3DS when nobody uses the fucking 3D.
I like the 3D function. Everybody else is crazy.
I mean, I used it like the first 6 months I had one, and then I never used it again.
It. Depends on the game, mind you. Like, Ocarina of Time has some weirdness with the 3D, where in sections I just found it never worked. Like the Chamber of the Sages, with all the like sort of like waterfalls or whatever of light, whatever's happening in the background doesn't. It doesn't look right. So, but
wasn't
anyways,
built for it, so.
What other series do I have? Oh, the Etrian Odyssey series. I know that's not Drew's thing, but like
it's a little too hardcore for me.
But hey, that's another series that it's all basically on the 3DS.
So that's never been anywhere else, has it?
DS had two Etrian Odysseys.
I mean, still, to me, the DS and the 3DS are like the same ecosystem.
No, but yeah, you're right. The Etrian Odyssey hasn't escaped that, and then you have the two Persona games, which are built like Etrian Odyssey games, Persona Q and Persona Q2.
Yeah.
This goes back to like current
Those are
stuff.
way more accessible.
Sure, but this goes back to like current stuff now, to where like they're limiting it to one machine, and you worry in the future, like these games should be like accessible across the board.
Again, like I think a lot of it's built around a gimmick that again you don't have a translate. like the fact that the Switch is portable and home console, right? Means that Nintendo no longer has a dedicated handheld. And so the 3DS line dies. And I've thought about it, I was thinking about it like the other day too, where it's like the Game Boy line died too. Like the original DS or DS Lite, I should say, was the last time you could play Game Boy games, and they were only Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah.
So everything kind of disappears. It's just with the 3DS stuff, I know you can emulate 3DS, and I know there's ways to put games on the 3DS through other methods, non-legal channels. But sometimes for simplicity's sake, it's just easier to buy them.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Also, like, there's people out there who just like me. I'm like, legit, I want to give the developers a little bit of money for this, you know?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that people are that put, stuff on, personal finance, like I have a friend that does it, but it's because he doesn't have much money otherwise.
Yeah.
It's not a lack of not wanting, or it's not a lack of wanting to, it's just a lack of funds to do so. So, I'm just like worried that like emulation and ROM dumping and stuff, like it's how much effort people want to put into it. That like when ROM sites get shut down, it's usually because they are asking for money.
Yeah.
It's the reason why that you can kind of access ROMs on a website. It definitely is not the Internet Archive.
There's so much shit on there, and they don't charge for it, so nobody cares.
Exactly, yeah. And
it's
so
like a library.
Yeah, it's like every time a news article comes up about it, that's the problem. That somebody was getting money for doing illegal activities. The thing that I want to kind of point out, though, is that all that stuff that's on the Internet Archive, or wherever else you're looking, is done by fans. Someone had to put the effort in to get the game, then dump the game, and then put it online. And we take a lot of that for granted. And again, like, what gets saved is based on what people are interested in. Now, there might be some crazy people out there that decide to just kind of buy everything, but, like, what has been removed from the eShop already in the past just for licensing issues, right? That maybe isn't saved, that doesn't make it. Like, it's stuff like that where you have to kind of think, like, maybe, like, I should purchase it just to kind of cover my ass, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get into that mentality, but then you also go into the mentality of, like, who the fuck is ever going to play that again?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying buy crap. I used to think, like, I would save every CD ever and then just put it into a big library that people could come and listen to anything. But then it's like, man, people could print anything to a disc. It's crazy when I hear people that want to go for, like, full Wii collections. Dude, a lot of Wii games are cheap because they're trash. And they're like, you go to the
library
3DS,
is probably what, 60% trash?
Oh god, yeah, probably more than that. And like the look at the Switch eShop. No one's ever saving all that.
Dude, 80% trash.
But holy crap.
But like the 3DS and Wii U, people forget, but like those stores were inundated with trash towards the end.
Sure, towards the end, but in the beginning they were very much.
In the beginning they were great, but then it was just like, nope, the floodgates are open. So it's just
Switch.
you are what my kind of point is, though, is that you are at the mercy of somebody else uploading this publicly if you don't take it upon yourself to buy it, right? And that's kind of why we're talking about this.
Somebody's out there clamoring for Girl Fight.
Yeah.
And
remember
God bless them.
Remember that Xbox Live arcade game? Oh.
How about Rock Zombie?
Oh, dude, that game was
hot garbage.
All you gotta do is go on the eShop right now and find a game that is $1.49 or less.
Hold on. I will...
You go pull up that website that has the game.
Yep, you goddamn right I am. Price, let's see here. 20 cents, Bullet Beat.
I'm sure that's awesome.
24 cents, Magic Colors. Oh yeah. You can get Unlock the King 2 and 3 for 25 cents a piece. Bam!
Those are some quality video games.
Oh my god.
I'm sure they were full of stolen assets.
Unlock the King Unlock the King isn't. It's just
what was the fucking game I saw yesterday? Holy shit! I gotta find this game.
There's Mario on Xbox Live. Is that what you're referring to?
No. This
was a shitty Mario game.
This was a Switch game. I gotta find this thing.
Do you actually go onto the Switch online just to look at stuff?
Not usually. I usually check to see what's new, to see if there's anything new that I would like to play. Oh, this game is a sexy third-person shooter called Waifu Impact, and the press release I got had a GIF in the email, and it's girls in bikinis running around shooting each other with squirt guns.
Okay. Anyway, I have some other series. Hey, if you're into Pokemon, there's a ton of Pokemon games on the 3DS.
Pokemon!
Yeah, like mainline Pokemon games that you won't be able to get anymore.
Hey, there's a bunch of Picross games. I'm going to be honest with you, I've kind of lost the love for Picross. That isn't weird Picross from other people, but all the Jupiter Picross games on the 3DS are there.
Pokemon Picross.
Yeah, that one is weird, and I don't know how that'll work when online doesn't function anymore, because the idea was you had to buy crystals for time, but then they capped you at like $40 once you spent $40, but you still had to go to the shop to get crystals for free, and I don't know how that works when online's down.
Good question.
Yeah. Just trying to go through the series stuff first. The Yokai Watch series, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's kind of a Pokemon clone, but 3DS only, and they're super expensive physically. The third game is $150 used, and it's not that old.
That thing used to be huge.
That's how low. It was big in Japan, and I think they really tried to make it big.
They pushed it hard here.
Because I remember when the watches first came out, like you could buy the watches with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And it felt like a good try, but boy, it just never.
Basically, Pokemon, but capturing ghosts, right? In your watch.
Yeah, but like there were some neat things, like you had to find them.
Yeah, that was the whole gimmick, was finding them.
Because they're yokai, they're like little evil Japanese spirits, and like you know they all are based off of traditional yokai. It was really neat. But
Ken knows a lot about it. He played Ghostwire Tokyo.
There's a lot of yokai in Ghostwire Tokyo. A lot.
I'm just kind of looking
with
over. I
paper
wrote down
dolls with like Shinto stuff. Pretty cool.
The woman with the scissors who will cut your head off.
From Clock Tower?
I mean, not that one, but
traditional Japanese giant scissors cut your appendages off character.
Supposedly, it's a woman wearing a mask and a trench coat, and she asked the person, "Do you think I'm pretty?" And if you say yes, then she takes off the mask and her mouth is slit open, a lot like the Joker. And she says, "Well, I'll make you pretty like me with scissors." Or if you say no, then she cuts your head off.
Oh, she didn't ask me in Ghostwire. She just charges me with the scissors.
She just, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, she just runs at me really fast, and I have to parry her and then wiggle my fingers and do some finger magic.
Gotcha. Anyway.
How I roll.
The Box Boy games.
Never heard of it.
Box Boy is a puzzle platformer.
Okay.
Play as a box with legs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but those got ported though, didn't they?
No, Box Boy and Box Girl is the fourth game in the series.
Okay, I thought those got ported
Switch.
to something.
I thought that was a port, and I just found out it was not.
Maybe that's why.
When I was like, let me just pull up the Box Boy. Yeah, it's from HAL. So the people that make the Kirby games did a puzzle platformer, and it's like, it's weirdly cute for something that's literally just a square with 2 dots for eyes. But yeah, those are 3DS exclusives. So Box Boy, Box Boy, and Bye Bye Box Boy.
Say that 3 times fast.
Our 3DS series that's not available anywhere else. So it's kind of like there was also Pushmo World on the Wii U, but Pushmo, Crashmo, and Stretchmo
are these Mega Man bosses?
No, they're puzzle games where the idea is that you pull parts, like they give you like a pixelated image, right? And somewhere on that image is a platform you have to get on. But it's a 2D image in a 3D space, and you control a 3D character that can pull out different colors of this picture and then jump up. And the whole idea is that you have to figure out where you can pull stuff out more to make it so you can pull the next piece out further, because you get to pull it out once, twice, or 3 times to get it the maximum depth.
I had to.
God damn it!
I was just leaving it alone. I knew somebody'd pick it up.
And they're really addictive and get very hard. But I really enjoyed that series. I've never played the Wii U version. I'll probably pick it up before the Wii U shuts down too. But
y'all motherfuckers are the 2 people on the planet still got your Wii U's hooked up, aren't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, like those are really good puzzle platformers. Again, a whole series basically locked to one console. Because I think Pushmo World is like greatest hits, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. I didn't realize Box Boy and Box Girl wasn't a compilation, so I'm just trying to wrap up the series. You can get most of the Zelda games on the 3DS. You can get Zelda 1, Zelda 2. If you have a new 3DS, you get A Link to the Past.
Does it matter, though? Like, is there any on there that you can't get somewhere else? Because let's be fair, I bought Zelda like 37 times now. I don't need it on there.
That's true. So 3DS-wise, you're going to want A Link Between Worlds.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the one game that needs ported fucking fiercely.
Yeah, at this point, I would... That's amazing. That's a game that doesn't need 2 screens.
It doesn't. It has a nice 3D effect with the dungeons that are like,
but I think a higher
But
I think a higher resolution would do just fine.
Dude, port that in the art style of Link's Awakening, and we're good.
Yeah. Gosh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would sell how did that not happen for the 30th anniversary of Zelda? Like how?
Because they did nothing for the 30th anniversary of Zelda,
except delay Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, and release that Game and Watch. That the one
sorry,
that you can still find the Mario one.
35th anniversary. God, yeah. I'm old as fuck.
I'm just trying to think. And I would recommend the Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time remakes.
Those are the definitive version of those games.
Sure, but it's not like you can't get them somewhere else.
The Majora's Mask, I know that there's some people that think that game is broken, but I think that is way more playable on the 3DS with the new Bomber's No Pad. Some of the quality of life adjustments, play the original and then you play the 3DS version. The 3DS version is just made to streamline aspects, so you're not doing fetch quests over and over and over and not completing them.
But that was the charm.
No, it wasn't.
Man.
That's why Dark Souls is good. It's just the difficulty. You know that?
Hey, if you're really a completionist, there's Triforce Heroes. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's there.
No, nobody wants Triforce Heroes.
I own it. I think I had to review that game, if I'm not mistaken.
May have. I don't remember. That game was...
I don't mind that game.
It's fine,
It's fine, but it's not even as good as Four Swords.
Which
is a better game.
I also have on my 3DS.
Yes, I do too. And I prefer that, and I prefer Four Swords Adventures on the GameCube than Triforce Heroes. The next one is the Mario and Luigi games. There's a remake of Superstar Saga. There's a remake of Bowser's Inside Story. There's Dream Team.
Dream Team was so good.
Paper Jam. Is that all of them?
No, there's... Well, you're getting into the Mario... You're getting into Paper Mario series.
No,
as
because
well.
the paper, yeah, but like I would.
What was
I'm
the
not
Mario
gonna tell
versus
anyone.
Donkey Kong minis? What was that one?
It's hey, more Mario versus Donkey Kong minis. That's literally at that point. There's Tipping Stars. That was one of them.
Okay.
The remake of.
Yeah, I said there was a remake of Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story.
But the remake of Superstar Saga, didn't it come with like some kind of plus?
Yeah, Bowser's minions, and then it's Bowser's Jr.'s journey in Bowser's Inside Story. Gotcha. And they're the same sort of gameplay. But I wouldn't be like, hey, buy it for those. No. I would say buy it because they're really good RPGs. It's a shame that they didn't do Partners in Time, but we can't always get what we want. That's the hardest game to access because Superstar Saga is, I think, even available on Wii U backwards compatibility, and Bowser's Inside Story you can trip over for the DS. And then I'm starting to get into more of like single one-off stuff, but there's like two more. The Dylan series, which is Dylan's Rolling Western.
Dylon?
He's an armadillo that kind of rolls around, and it's a tower defense action game. I love that series. It's very weird and unique, and it's a Nintendo first-party title, and it's only available download on 3DS. I don't know why there was never physical copies, but
Nintendo doesn't want you to know about their bastard child, Dylon.
Yeah, apparently.
He's the greatest rapper of all time. It's Dylon.
I don't think they had physical copies. But the other one is, hey, Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2, Dark Moon, are available on 3DS.
It's weird that Luigi's Mansion 2 is only on the 3DS.
It's a shame because they're fucking great, but
I love all the Luigi Mansion games. They were all good.
Does Luigi's Mansion 2, like, do you need the second screen for that one?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Not that I think anyways, but I've
got a series that you haven't mentioned yet. It's a series near and dear to my heart. There are multiple mainline Monster Hunter games on 3DS.
Yeah, I knew you'd bring it up. I don't have to. I don't have any affinity for that series.
Dude, the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is one of the best Monster Hunter games that's ever been made. And
some of the best Monster Hunter games are only on portables, right? PSP has quite a few of them as well.
It wasn't where it started, but that's where it ended up for a long time.
Started on the PS2 and then went to the PSP.
No one remembers the PS2 game.
What's a bad video game? If you
two of them.
Go back
Monster
and play
Hunter
them.
1 and 2 are on those on PS2.
They're bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They feel like D3 published games.
They feel like PS2 games as well, which if you go back and play PS2 games like Camera Control and stuff is real bad back then.
But you know what I mean. It feels like a low budget title.
Well, because Capcom didn't care. They were just making something new. And
the only thing I can say, though, and this is something that if you are a Monster Hunter fan that has enjoyed Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, if you try to go back and play some of those 3DS games, there are a lot of quality of life improvements in World and more so in Rise that you're not going to get.
Sure.
Like perfect example, if you want to heal and you want to drink a Mega Potion, in Monster Hunter World and Rise, you can walk around while you do that. In the older games, you have to stand still, drink a potion, and then flex your muscles to heal. And you are vulnerable during that entire time.
That sounds like a really neat mechanic.
Yeah, they improved Monster Hunter significantly, but there are some really, really great titles in there. And especially if you are a Monster Hunter fan who wants to experience some of the older games, they're only on 3DS.
Yeah.
And hey, I think Monster Hunter Stories 1 is a 3DS and Android iPhone only.
It is.
But hey,
phone games.
Do you want to play it on an actual video game machine? Or do you want to play it with higher resolution on a phone? Wow, that's a Sophie's choice.
Dude, what's going to happen when Stadia goes under? Who's going to archive all those games?
Hey, it's almost like that was a bad idea from the get-go.
When are we going to get a RetroArch core for Stadia?
You know how those games are going to be saved
on
on every other? I was going to say every other console that it was released on, and to the few Stadia exclusives, I'm sure they'll be put elsewhere.
All two of them.
All two of them.
I saw the campaign going around for them harassing the dude that makes the Outbreak games to bring all the games to the Stadia.
I would, if you were harassing me to bring over games to fucking Stadia, I would make sure to never do it.
Oh, he's bringing them all over. He's trying to bring them all over because, you know.
Would have been like, hey guys, no.
Stadia is only looking for the top tier quality software. I respect those Outbreak games, but that guy puts one out like every 6 months, and they're not really that different. So,
yeah,
they're fine.
So I got a couple others.
Yeah, you go ahead. I was talking for a long time, and I still have more to talk about, but
that's fine.
Keep going.
I'll just knock them out right now. So Yoshi's New Island, pretty good.
I'm gonna double down on that, but say Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World.
Okay.
Because it's an expanded version of the Wii U game. Now, it's obviously not going to be as pretty. I think the Wii U game got DLC to kind of even it out, but hey, it's a really good Yoshi game on the go. I liked it more than Yoshi's New World, but Yoshi's New World is still a good game.
Yeah. Let's see here. I've got the Bravely series, Bravely Default and Bravely Second. Great JRPGs that you can only play on 3DS.
Bravely Second is pretty cheap physically.
That one's relatively new, right?
Yeah, that was only about 2 years old.
Yeah, but I don't think it sold very well. But they had a bunch of copies of it because the first game did well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it came out post-Switch, so a lot of people were moving to Switch.
Probably that, too. So I looked up some of these games I had written down on price charting before we started, and yeah, Bravely Default still is a decent price. Like, it goes for kind of the price it was when it came out, $40.
There's probably inventory laying everywhere for that game, too.
But Bravely Second, I think I saw $20 for like a complete in-box copy. So,
that's like,
but it is. Well, I think I bought mine for 20 Canadian. So yeah.
And you got the Project Cross Zone series.
Oh God, I remember that thing. The one that had every freaking Capcom character in it.
Now, was only Capcom. It was Sega, Capcom, and
that's right. Yeah.
SNK?
Phoenix Wright was fighting like Harry Bogard and shit.
No, it wasn't SNK. It was Capcom, Sega.
I know Sega. Yeah, Sega was in there.
And Tekken characters? Were Tekken characters? No, it wasn't Tekken.
No, I think it was Tekken because didn't Namco work on it?
It's developed by Monolith with assistance from Capcom and Red Entertainment, published by Namco Bandai. So it's a follow-up to the game Namco Capcom.
It's got Akira from Street Fighter in it. And
So Project X Zone is Capcom and Namco Bandai, and then Sega.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then okay, because Sega's not really on the cover. I don't think. Oh no, he is. Okay, that's Akira.
Ooh La La is also on the cover.
Yep.
Oh shit! I didn't even see her in the background. It's so small. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
Yep.
This game's insane. So Project Cross Zone and Project Cross Zone 2 are on 3DS only.
Oh, it's Cross. I think I said X. Okay.
I mean, that's how it's written, is Project X Zone.
Yeah, but I didn't even, you know what, my brain read it, and then as soon as I heard Cross, I'm like, that makes far more sense, and I've heard it that way, so I don't know why I said X.
Because wasn't it called Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
Tekken, yeah. And then the last one I have is, it's kind of a niche title, made by Level 5, called Crimson Shroud.
Oh, shit, that's a digital-only game, too.
That is a digital-only game.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's literally D&D.
Yeah.
Holy shit! You know what the price of those Project Cross Zone games are?
Oh, expensive. Buy the digital
$200.
$120 for the second one, $160 for the first one. Those are on eBay.
Should have bought that copy brand new for $10 at a Walmart, and I still kicked myself to that day, but I had no interest.
I mean, it probably
Project
still
Cross
there.
Zone is legit cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't really care for fighting games.
It's not.
It's not a fighting game.
It's not a fighting game.
It's a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah, it's not a fighting game at all, dude.
I thought it was a fighting game!
No, it's not a fighting game.
It's almost like Disgaea. It's like a strategy RPG.
Yeah, it has like grid-based strategy.
And then when you go into
Screenshots
battles,
didn't do it.
yeah, when you go into battles, it turns into a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Mm-hmm. It's real good.
It's awesome.
I'm hurting. Okay.
I get the feeling, come close to August, Nintendo will just be like, everything's gonna fucking sell.
Dude, they didn't do that for the Wii.
No, they won't do it.
They won't do it.
I don't know if you can get this any other place, the Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Oh yeah, you can get it everywhere.
Okay, all right. I got that one on there.
The 3DS version, I think, has like one exclusive thing, and it's like some mashup levels.
I'm still
I think
pissed.
you need the amiibo for it. So
I'm still pissed
pointless.
that you can't get Mega Man powered up with the 2 new bosses for Mega Man 1. It still makes me mad.
Oil Man and Time Man.
Yeah, with the remix music and the chibi art style.
The level creator.
Yeah, that game needs to make a comeback somewhere. If Sony isn't Sony putting PSP games on?
Yeah, watch they'll fuck that because the Mega Man X. What
there was a remake of X too, right?
Maverick Hunter.
Mega
Man X Maverick Hunter has been available for purchase digitally, but Mega Man Powered Up never was.
All of those Capcom games that came around that time, the Ghosts and Goblins game, the Power Stone game, the Mega Man Powered Up, and Maverick Hunter are some of my favorite. Like, those were the reason I had a PSP for a long time.
Yeah. Powered Up is a
PSP has some really good like titles on there.
Twisted Metal, Wipeout, all of those Capcom jams.
A lot of Atlas stuff on there. Nights in the Nightmare was really good.
Oh,
Persona.
What was the actual good game from what's his name? Guy that fucked up Mighty Number 9.
Oh, Keiji Inafune.
With the book?
Oh, the book. No, that was on Vita, wasn't it?
Was that Vita? Okay.
Yeah, that was Vita. That was it was a Monster Hunter kind of game.
Yeah, what was it called?
I can't remember.
99 something or other?
No.
Soul Sacrifice?
Soul Sacrifice.
Soul Sacrifice, yeah.
Yep.
That's the game.
Gotcha. That's actually from that studio too, Concept.
That was a good game.
Yeah, but like they don't make the game. Can I just
Yeah, we've been
Keiji
over the
Inafune,
KG Inafune rant. Yeah.
No, I don't it's not it's a minor one. It's just like people have said there's no like, oh, you have an idea for a video game? Well, great. No one's the ideas guy in video games. But all I've learned as I've grown up is there's always the ideas guy, and generally he's an asshole and incompetent. And this guy decided to build a whole studio around that being the ideas guy. They don't make the game in-house. They ship it off to someone else, and they're like,
his name was attached to so many big things, though, that it was hard not to get excited.
What did he do for Recore?
Not like Recore. Nothing. I'm talking about Dead Rising. I'm talking about how he saved Mega Man 2.
Listen, I'm not blaming anybody but him. Like, that's the thing. I don't blame people for getting on board with his stuff, but like, dude, like, what business sense does it make to have a game studio that doesn't actually make games? They just make ideas for games. There's people at game studios that can make ideas for games. Look at Inti Creates. They've made many.
And they've made a lot of the same game too, let's be fair.
To be fair, yes, but like I'm just saying, like they've come up with ideas for games. Like it's not like they are low on that.
There's like 47 Azure Striker Gunvolts now.
But guess who's hitched his fucking trailer to that? Keiji Inafune. It's like, oh, I've been involved since the beginning.
I didn't even know he was still around. I thought that last Kickstarter for the Mega Man Legends remake was...
He shows his face in those new Azure Striker Gunvolt series trailers, and I'm like, dude, no.
I don't even care. Like, when they showed the first Azure Striker Gunvolt, I was like, this looks cool, and I played it. I was like, yeah, this is one of those. And then they made a second one and a third one, and I don't even... There's like 50 of them now. I don't know.
The only person, and I can't believe I'm saying this, because, again... Since I started on this podcast, like I feel like my opinion has unfortunately changed, even though I still think he smells his own farts too much. But the only person that's been consistent with being the ideas guy and being very good at it is Kojima.
I mean, yeah,
He's the only one.
Eh.
Everybody else, like Shigeru Miyamoto, even has a lot of misses. Like,
Well, Miyamoto's kind of stopped.
Yeah, he stopped recently.
Okay, what about Shinji Mikami?
Mikami's been making the same game though.
It's
always good,
but it's always good.
He's had. I mean, they've always been good. You're right, but I wouldn't say like, oh, these are. They're good. He's not changing the game
since Resident Evil. He hasn't changed the game since Resident Evil, but it's always been good.
Yeah. Like the idea of, hey, I'm the Resident Evil guy. Let me make a Resident Evil game. We just can't use that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's nailed that.
Breaking the. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what he's doing next because I feel like he wasn't really working on Ghostwire. I feel like that was the second team at Tango, so I'm really excited to see what he's been working on.
Evil Within 3.
Dude, I will take
that. Hold
on.
The E in Evil is a 3.
What are we in the 2006 era of Xbox 360? What's wrong with you?
Goddamn right we are. Shadow Man 2 Ekin Coming.
Second Coming with a 2 in it. What was the Thief 4 with the A was the 4 or whatever?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Core 4 Answer.
Nobody played Armored Core 4 Answer. Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the 3DS stuff. Drew,
the last 3DS game I will mention is probably my favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite arcade sports game, which is Mario Golf World Tour.
Hey, they just put Mario Golf up on Nintendo Switch expansion pack.
Yeah, which the N64 version of that game is really good.
Yeah, I know. I played it.
But
World Tour is.
Yeah, World Tour.
I bought a copy. I bought a physical copy off of somebody on like Marketplace for like $25.
Dude, I will tell you.
But there's DLC that will go away for Mario Golf. Sorry, what's the World Tour?
World Tour.
Because Toadstool is GameCube.
I remember that game was one of the games we had a surplus of in our back room at GameStop.
The
3DS version of Mario Golf, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, because people are like, why would I have golf on the go?
Yeah, like that's the one they.
And it's crazy to think about that way.
It's so good.
In hindsight,
it's so good.
It was good. It was very good.
Yep. I put like 40 hours in that game.
I'll try to blast through the rest of these as fast as possible, except for the ones I have to explain. Hey, like Phoenix, right? Well, most of those games were ported, but like if you want to play a 3DS version of the fourth game, which is Apollo Justice, which I think is personally the best game, although 3 is really very good. I love Apollo Justice's ending. Like, the fucking hell, that's such a good ending. But there's still 2 games that are stuck only on 3DS, and that's Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice.
I bet they port those, though, because they did the collection on Switch. And
I would hope so, but, like, fuck, I don't know.
Also, don't forget Professor Layton meets...
Well, I was going to get to that, too, because Professor Layton has 2 games that are locked to the 3DS.
Yes.
And one of them is
good.
Miracle Mask. Easy, $40 for a physical copy. Azran Legacy, that's $120.
Did this make it
minimum
to the phone?
They may have. So it's weird because, like, I know that the last Layton game that got ported to Switch with his daughter also made it to phone, but I don't know if Miracle Mask or Azran Legacy made it to phones.
I'm looking it up now. It looks like Layton Curious Village was on Google Play. Yeah, it looks like it was just Curious Village. It's the only one I see.
Huh. I know that there was Layton Brothers.
Sorry, there's also Professor Layton and the Unwound Future. And
yeah, that was the third 3DS, or third DS game.
Yeah, Curious Village, Unwound
Diabolical
Future.
Box was the second.
Okay, there's a trilogy on the App Store.
Oh, okay.
That includes Diabolical Box, Curious Village, and Unwound Future. Okay, so
yeah, that's the original 3DS game. Then there was a 4th DS game, and then there was... So the 4th DS game Professor Layton, the first 3 games are one trilogy, and then it's a prequel trilogy with the 4th DS game and the 2 3DS games. The two 3DS games were never super easy to find, but the second one, Azran Legacy, is super expensive. And I believe the same goes for Phoenix Wright, or Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
What about The Last Spectre?
The Last Spectre is an expensive game, the DS one. That's the fourth DS game, like OG DS. So I'm just crossing these off. So I really fell in love with the game, and I talked about it on the main podcast, Hotel Dusk, Room 215.
That's a DS game, right?
That is a DS game. The reason why I bring it up, though, is that was made by a company called Sing, C-I-N-G. And unfortunately, Sing closed down. Their last game was Last Window, really? I just realized that's their last game. Last Window, which was a sequel to Hotel Dusk that was only released in Europe.
That was 12
but they didn't
years
really...
ago.
Really?
Yeah, 2010.
Damn.
When Last Window came out.
They did really good stuff. They had, I love the game again. I love the game Trace Memory, which was another code everywhere else in the world. Don't know why they would change the name, but it was like an early DS game, so that's probably the reason why. That company shut down. However, some of the developers came back and did Chase cold case investigations. I'm not going to tell you it's as good as the other Sing stuff, but if you have any affinity for those old titles like Trace Memory, Hotel Dusk, it's more from that team. And it's cold cases, so they're re-interviewing people, and they're going through old evidence, and, it leans into that fact, and it's, clearly to get around not having a huge budget. And it's kind of the last thing that parts that team did together, and it looks like a 3D version of Hotel Dusk, because it's the same artist. So yeah, I do recommend that. This is, okay, this one has got a hell of a title. It's another eShop only, so there's really no other way around it, because it was Chase Cold Case Investigations. Delusions of von Sottendorf and His Square Mind.
No idea.
It's a 3D platformer puzzle game, and the idea is that you move around rooms, and on the bottom screen, and the top screen is all the 3D platformer aspect. And when you move around the rooms, you can access different doors. And so you're trying to collect all these things, but you have to slide these rooms around to get them in the right position to grab certain items. Does that make sense?
Sounds like a perspective puzzle.
It is sort of, but hey, I'm going through a door on the bottom floor of the room I'm in, and I want to get to the top floor of it. So the only room I can access right now that has a door on the bottom goes into this room, and then I climb a ladder in that room and get into another room, and then you have to start sliding the rooms around to get the doors to line up so you can travel from one to another. So if anybody's played, spoiler I guess, anybody's played the end of Skyward Sword, there's a puzzle where you're shifting the rooms around. It's just like that, except that you view them from a sort of side perspective, even though there's depth to the room because it's a 3D platformer. You're kind of viewing them from one wall into the room. It's really well done. The 3D effect's really neat in it. And it's something that can only kind of be done on the 3DS to have that sort of impact. I love it. I saw it and was like, I need to play it. I did. It's a great game. No one talks about it. And it's kind of a shame because it's just this really charming game that was we're going to play around with the fact that this has 2 screens and 3D. And yeah, it reminds me a lot of Crush in the way that it's a very different puzzle game that I don't think I want to see again because it's just going to be more of the same. But I'm glad it exists in some way. It is a good puzzle game, but what I'm saying is it would, anybody that did the same thing, it would just be a copy of this game. And it may do better on a bigger platform, but because the eShop wasn't really a big platform on the 3DS. But yeah, all I'll think of is Delusions of von Sottendorf and His Square Mind, which is fucking one of the worst titles ever. It doesn't roll off the tongue at all.
I was gonna say, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's literally the problem, I think, is like, how the fuck do you tell anybody about this game without just having their brain melt in front of you? When you mentioned level 5, Drew, I thought you were going to mention Fantasy Life. I feel like that's a must mention because it's a very popular and expensive game.
I've never played that.
Isn't that the shit that John was obsessed with for a long ass time?
It doesn't have. It's not Honey Pop.
I'm aware, but John's also obsessed with Binding of Isaac, so he has a crazy.
That's true.
I swear he used to play the crap out of Fantasy Life. Why do I?
Fantasy Life is
it Fantasy Life, or was it that Idol game?
No.
You remember the
Fantasy
Idol
Life.
game?
I do remember the Idol game he was obsessed with, but I think Fantasy Life was something that he used to play with Laura all the time.
Fantasy Life is an RPG where you kind of choose a profession, and I think it's neat. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's kind of like, oh my god, Rune Factory. So like it's
Rune Factory's really good.
Rune Factory also has 3DS versions, but I think there's a new one that just came out on Switch, and I don't know if those are like recent. I don't know if those are one of those ones that get better with time, type of thing. Like as you get the next one,
pretty much the same thing with time.
Yeah,
farm simulation.
2 Nintendo ones, because I think they're some of Nintendo's best. Kid Icarus Uprising. Probably the last time you're going to see Kid Icarus.
I didn't need to see him the second time.
Alright, well, you're wrong.
That first game is a bad video game. Use your credit card and shoot your arrows. I don't give a shit.
And Kirby Planet Robobot.
I'll give you that one.
Oh, that's a good game. And Ryan's not here, but I have to say that Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn is on 3DS. It's a port of the Wii game. The Wii game is still available and probably cheap. There's some extra features in Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, but it's there if you want it on the go. Cool. Put my paper over. Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix. Rhythm Heaven is a game that is amazing, and this is a combination of like a bunch of different rhythm games from the whole series. And while I'm on that, hey, if you got a Wii U, the Rhythm Heaven Wii game, which I've never seen in real life, is on there for like $20 digitally. So those are games that if you've never played them, think WarioWare, but they're longer and it's all rhythm based. And they really make these really good songs out of the actions that you're doing. Like one of them is just hitting the tennis ball back and forth across the court. But it starts to become music as you're playing. I love that game. I love the art. And this is just like the peak of the series and probably the end of the series too, because I don't think it's sold very well. And related by the same team, WarioWare Gold. Another compilation, but hey, it's one of the best compilations and currently the last WarioWare game. Fantastic title. I reviewed it for the site. I'm crazy about WarioWare.
One was the last WarioWare game.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. That game is so different that it makes me feel like it's a different game altogether. But the WarioWare on the Switch is very good. But it has that character feature where you play as a different character throughout.
Yeah, it's not just... Yeah.
That being said, WarioWare Gold is kind of the last time we had all the toys feature, which was like, hey, these are like mini games to play. And like when I say mini games, I mean like these are small arcade experiences that you can play, which were introduced in the first game, but weren't in the last one, which was very weird. So like in the first game, you got like Dr. Wario, which was just a reskin of Dr. Mario with Wario as the doctor. And a paper plane game where you just flew a paper airplane down tower. Basic stuff, but it was like fun to beat your high score. And that was missing from Get It Together, which was still a fantastic game and a breath of fresh air. But like WarioWare Gold, if you like WarioWare, is the best version of it, because I don't really think playing Twisted is easy to do on any Game Boy console, because either you can't see it and play it on the more comfortable original model, or you play it in an SP and you can see it, but it's absolutely a pain in the ass to twist back and forth.
Twisted Passata.
I guess still on Rhythm. Hey, the Theatrhythm games are really good. That's a thing I just learned recently. And all the DLC that is like $50 in the original for all the extra songs, and I think $100 in the second. But that's all DLC that's going to disappear. All the Smash Brothers 3DS DLC is going to disappear, and you might say, well, why would I get that version? But like that version had like some really interesting one-player content that wasn't in the Wii U version at the time, and I don't think is in Ultimate. Not for everybody, but hey, I just thought I'd bring it up because it's DLC. It'll be gone. Attack of the Friday Monsters, I have not played this, so I can't speak to it, but I've asked people, I've looked online, this comes up all the time. I have bought it. It looks really cute. I'm just bringing it up because like this is going to be one that is only available on 3DS. I don't think it's ever moving anywhere because I feel like it would have done it by now. It's a very interesting story where like monsters are real in Japan and it's kids trying to figure it out. It looks charming. I bought it. It's dirt cheap. It's like under $10. Super Mario 3D Land, I'm sure you can stumble over a physical copy of it, but I want to just point it out because I think it's better than 3D World. I love it. I think it's one of the best 3DS games. It's important to own if you want to see the 3D in action, but I think it's also one of the best Mario games.
It's better than 3D World.
3D World's end game is better, but like you go through a lot of boring stages in 3D World to get there. And 3D Land constantly does some interesting stuff. And the best part is when you get into the harder levels in the end game of 3D Land, they reuse level structures from previous levels, but throw twists into them, so you don't even realize that they're the same levels you're playing through. I love that game. I think it's so good. I think it's one of the best 3D Marios out there. I guess some people would say it's not 3D Mario, but whatever. Sonic Lost World is a must-play on the 3DS because it's very different than the console game. I also going to just go and say Generations. If it's on sale, play that, pick it up because it's got different levels than the main game. And then these are the ones where it's like the last ones that I kind of want to finish on because I think, like, hey, the DSi store is going to disappear. So get Xscape, which is Dylan Cuthbert, I believe I pronounced his name, the guy who like made Star Fox. It was a return to like the game he did before Star Fox that got him the Star Fox job. And it's like a 3D space flight thing from like first person on the DSi, so it's a little rough looking, but I would recommend that. There's also the Art Style series from Nintendo, which was like these weird puzzle games. Some of them are rhythm based, like Picto Bits is this weird like sort of Tetris like game. I don't know how to describe it. You just kind of have to play it. But it remixes all this old Nintendo music. And then I said that, sorry, I said it wrong earlier. These are the last ones I want to finish on. River City games. I fell in love with River City on the 3DS. Tokyo Rumble and Rival Showdown are available physically, but Knights of Justice is 3DS only. Tokyo Rumble and Rival Showdown are sort of more like towards what you think of River City with a bunch of like modern day upgrades. Everybody's still like pixelated in 2D, but the whole world is in 3D. It's a really well done beat 'em up RPG, and I love those games. The weird one out is Knights of Justice, which is eShop only, and is like a feudal Japan, or no, sorry, not feudal Japan. He's a knight, so it's like got a feudal Japan sort of tint to it, but like also it takes place in Europe, and you travel around a board, like a board game, to go to different areas. So like you do go to different towns and everything, and those kind of work like the main River City games, but you don't go straight from like one screen to another. You go to a map screen between.
Right.
And then you take quests and everything. Honestly, I think that series has peaked there because as much as I liked River City Girls, the whole time I played River City Girls, I went, wow, they really did this way better. And I realize it's not the same developer, but they really did this series justice on the 3DS and no one seemed to pay attention. Give me a second. I have to look up. Because I can't remember which one is which, but the one is timed. One of the two main games is timed, and is actually a remake to River City Ransom. So River City Tokyo Rumble is the game I prefer. It's a new game entirely and isn't timed based. In Rival Showdown, it's a remake of one, but it's all based around like certain events happen in the city depending on the time of day. So that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So I would recommend Tokyo Rumble. You're going to pick one, but I absolutely love these titles. Like I'm obsessed with them. I've now made it my goal to find the weird GBA port of River City Ransom for some fucking reason because I'm insane. But yeah, you can have like a good collection of River City because I think River City 1 is available on NES as well as Renegade, but don't play the Renegade. It sucks. And that's it for me. Like I honestly like.
Is there anything on the Wii U?
I mean,
shoot the bird.
No.
Honestly, a lot of the Wii U stuff, other than like Pushmo World and stuff, like there's Dr. Luigi,
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, but it's like you can get that physically, but still, yeah, that is one.
There's another one that was actually brought up by Wicked 1932 on Twitter. NES Remix.
That game is okay. It's fine.
I like that.
But is it really something that you need to...
I mean, it's going to be the only place you can play them.
Well, there's
an NES Remix. Well, there's two of them on the Wii U, Volume 1 and 2, and then there's a weird compilation of not everything for the 3DS.
Yeah, I think I played those games once, and I was like, I'm good.
They're very weird. It feels like a attempt to kind of capitalize off of WarioWare, but without the wackiness, kind of bringing everything together. But I do, yeah. I mean, that is a series that's a Wii U exclusive. I'm just trying to think if there's really anything else. Like the problem with the Wii U store is that like the Wii U itself, a lot of stuff just existed elsewhere, and the few exclusives that were really there, you can get on Switch now. Like Xenoblade Chronicles X is the only thing that I would say like saved from a fire, because I'm not going to tell you to get Star Fox Zero or Star Fox Guard. You can. They're probably dirt cheap. I've seen Wonderful 101's on other consoles
Switch
now.
And PS4 now.
That's right. They moved.
Just nobody cared because the game isn't very good.
Lego City Undercover's moved to other consoles. The Zelda, again, we get into the Zelda, like they're the definitive versions of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, but they're expensive. So if you want them, it's easier to get them digitally. And I'm going to say that about the Wii stuff too. Metroid Prime Trilogy, for every time somebody says it is coming to the Switch, it hasn't. So if you're interested in it and you actually want to spend money and have Nintendo see that, it's available on Wii U as a Wii game. That particular...
You have to have the nunchuck, though.
You have to have the nunchuck. Yeah, you can't play it with... You have to have a Wii controller and a nunchuck.
They only did 3 of those games, didn't they? They did Mario Galaxy.
They did, because they had Lost in Shadow.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot. It was kind of like the PS2 to PS4 game quantity.
So let me just quickly look, because I bought
Metroid
games.
and Mario Galaxy, which do me no good now.
Donkey Kong Country Returns. That's not the same as Tropical Freeze, just in case anybody's thinking about that.
I mean, it kind of is, but...
I mean, it kind of is, but they're different levels.
Yeah, but it kind of is.
So Donkey Kong Country Returns is available on the Wii U as a Wii game. There's a 3DS version as well. It's up to you. Excitebots. That's a weird name.
I know what Excitebots is. They tried to make the Excite series a thing, and it never panned out.
But they decided to start with Excite Truck.
That game is boss, son.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that name sounds contradictory. Like, you know? Excite Trucks. What are we? 8? 5?
Maybe.
What the? Yeah. Well,
I'm not
saying.
Have you ever heard of Gravedigger?
Gravedigger.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is a more expensive Wii title. Lost in Shadow or A Shadow's Tale if you're in PAL regions. Fucking Jesus. If you want, and you're like, man, I'd really rather spend $20 on it than like the 5 I can get for a used Metroid Other M if you're really into the series.
No, thank you.
Hey, yeah.
How is nobody talking about Devil's Third yet? Come on.
No one's talking about Devil's Third because it's horseshit.
And I said no.
Dude, that game is so
Pikmin 1 and 2
good.
are available as the Wii versions.
Nobody cares.
Pandora's Tower, if you want to see what Project Rainfall produced.
People think they do, but they...
Punch-Out. The Wii Punch-Out game is really good. I don't know what it's going for. If that's the only way you can get it, is a digital copy on the Wii U, it's worth playing. Like I said, Rhythm Heaven Fever. Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles is a really good light shooter. So is on-rail shooter Sin Punishment Star Successor.
Umbrella Chronicles made it to the PS4, I think.
It did.
Oh,
right.
did it? Okay,
Yep.
Never mind.
It did.
Um,
The House of the Dead Overkill.
That's on PlayStation as well.
Yeah, it's
on
not
PlayStation
available.
now?
It's
Yeah,
not
I made it
available
to
on Wii U eShop, but it's not available on Wii U eShop. So, and I think it's an expensive physical title, but it made it to PS3 for sure on a physical disc too. So, you know, the problem with the Wii U stuff is like, I don't know how to recommend anything for it because it requires having a Wii U, and that's a hard sell.
That was a hard sell when it came out.
True. I mean,
but it's a hard sell now if you like turn it on.
How much does anybody, without looking, how much do you think a Wii U price is right now? If you don't know,
$150. That's what I'm gonna guess. And the only reason
20. I would say
you're really fucking me with that.
I'm gonna tell you that
$1.
they're cheap enough for me to like consider it right now. I find a used Wii U 32GB black, $85. Okay. Sorry, these are Japanese consoles. US one is $140.
Okay.
I think I'm closer.
Somebody's selling the empty console box for the Wii U on eBay for $65.
I hate people.
God, why does eBay not like shut those things down?
Oh, here we go. Nintendo Wii U white premium set used 101.64.
The loose Wii U console.
The only problem is you're gambling on if that controller works.
Yeah, the
gamepad.
That controller. Yeah. This one's got a 1-year protection plan for $13.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I just rambled off a bunch of games. Games I like on 3DS, but it's just like it's a kind of a shame that everything's going away.
I've got a bunch more because I just got an email.
Oh shit!
And I'll go ahead and read it. I'll go ahead and read it off because the next part of this will be short, but I also want to talk about it. But this is all from Dustin, and it's all Wii U and 3DS titles that he would suggest.
Oh, well, he at least has a list of Wii U. I don't remember fucking anything other than like, hey, buy...
It's not many, but he does have some. It says, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record repeating all the games you guys just discussed. I'll try to make this quick. Wii U, Earthbound Beginnings. Yes, it's on the Switch NES library, but this is the only way to legitimately buy it. The crappy part is Wii U and 3DS purchases are tied to the system and not the account, so once the system dies, all your games are gone. Super Mario Advance 4? Super Mario 3?
Yeah, so does he expand upon it?
Yes, Game Boy Advance
That's where
game,
they got
but this
the
version
advanced
has the rare
games,
e-carder.
They got confusing because Super Mario Advance was also, what was it?
Super Mario Advance is Super Mario Brothers 2, but it's actually a new version. It's not even the All-Stars version. Then Super Mario Advance 2 is Super Mario World.
Yeah.
But then Super
fucking Call of
Mario
Duty
Advance. Hold on,
shit.
Super Mario Advance 3 is Super Mario World 2's Yoshi's Island. And then Super Mario Advance 4 is Super Mario Brothers 3E.
Of course it is. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare 4.
Yeah. Then he says it's a Game Boy Advance game, but this version has the rare e-reader levels.
E-reader.
And then the important thing to note, and like it may sound a bit weird, you can, in theory, put a bunch of e-reader levels on like an actual cart. The problem is the cart doesn't actually have enough space to take every e-reader level. It's only possible on the Wii U through emulation.
There is so much effort involved with so little return on your investment.
I'm also gonna just in case he doesn't have it listed, the Mega Man Battle Network series. I know I said this before. All of them remove the need to connect to someone else, obviously, because they can't, to get all the chips.
That's another question. Will the patches still be available for all these games?
Yes.
Okay.
So
potentially. I'll tell you the reason why I don't think so. Because in the eShop on the 3DS, you have to find it as a different download.
Doesn't the Pokemon game have like a glitch or something that you had to patch?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yes, there are patches for both Ultra Sun and Moon and the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Oh shit, make the burgers $2.50 on the eShop right now.
Alright, go back to the email.
Okay. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. Expensive DS game. This version has DLC maps you can't get anymore.
Oh.
Kururin.
Yeah. I actually own that.
GBA. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I actually own that cartridge. It was a Japanese-only game, I believe.
Fun GBA puzzle game, Japanese only, but GBA isn't region-locked, and it's cheap game, and it's readily available here.
Yeah, it's
here you go, Ken. Is Devil's Third on the eShop? That game is stupid expensive now, and not the best, but if you were curious, this would be a cheaper option for sure.
$60 on the eShop, I think. That's what I paid for back when I bought it.
Oh my god.
Well, I tried to buy it physical, but like nobody locally around me had it.
No, it's just the fact that it's $60 digital. Like, wow, these fuckers really know.
Hold on, Devil's
Come buy
Third.
your crap.
Holy
shit.
Can we shop for it? $721.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
For a physical copy of Devil's. Oh, here's one for $5.75. We got a deal.
There you go. $5.
So,
bam.
To describe
that game is tied to whoever got my Wii U that I traded in, so
enjoy.
There's Bird. Boom. Dead.
Do you know the game Roundabout?
Is that FMV game?
Yes, where you're in like a limo. You're like a limo driver.
Yeah.
And limo's constantly turning. That's Kururin. That's the same game. Gotcha. It's actually taken from Kururin.
Okay.
I want to know, can you still buy Devil's Third on the eShop? It's $29.99.
Oh, it's not bad.
29.
Yeah, it's been reduced from $59.99 to $29.99.
I might buy it just to have.
Just so you know, Golden Eggs will not work after December 28th, 2016.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
What was that?
It was a thing in the game.
Alright, well.
That game had online. I forgot that game had online. I played it online. There was nobody online.
That game doesn't work. The Golden Eggs will not work in this game that's fundamentally broken anyways. Here you go.
God, that game. Yeah.
Affordable space adventure. I'm not sure if it's available somewhere else.
Affordable space.
I've never heard of that.
I think this might be a... Oh, this is not the game I was thinking of. I was thinking of... Oh, it's only on Wii U.
Yeah.
Because unique use of the Wii U gamepad to control spaceship by using the controls shown on the touchscreen, including 2 different engines and other controls.
Gotcha. Fable Horse Adventures, baby.
I thought this game was something completely different. I thought this was the... You know what? I thought this was Lovers in the Danger of Space-Time.
That was why I thought those game.
That was on everything.
Eventually, but it was originally on the Xbox, and it's a co-op game. You have to have a co-op
partner
to play that.
I don't know why I thought that was this. So
same cadence of title.
Yeah. He said any super spendy GBA, NES, etc. games such as Metroid Fusion.
Oh yeah, you know, like
3DS networks are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3DS. Where to start? Pocket Card Jockey. Box Boy games. There's 3 of them? Box Boy, and Box Girl, and Bye Bye Box Boy. Apparently there's a 4th one as well. Crash Mo, Stretch Mo, and Push Mo.
Yeah!
Harmonite?
I've heard that's very good. I've been told it's really good. I've never played it. It's a rhythm platformer, I think. It's a rhythm game. I think it's done by Game Freak.
Okay.
Game Freak also made Timbo the Badass Elephant.
They did.
You didn't know
they also made Pocket Card Jockey, I believe.
Game Freak's made some weird games.
Denpa Man 3. I think mix of Pikmin and Animal Crossing RPG.
That sounds terrible to me.
I like Pikmin. Pikmin's okay.
I don't like Pikmin.
I'll look up the Denpa Man.
I liked Overlord.
I've seen it.
The first one, but I did not like Pikmin.
The concept of Overlord is way better than...
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Playing Overlord.
Playing Overlord.
The fact that the stupid things that follow you, whatever they are, the minions, but I don't know if they have like a race or whatever, but the minions are like, we're gonna revive the Overlord, and then they get the wrong guy, and that's you.
God, they made 3 of those games, if you remember.
They made more than 3.
I think there's only 3. There was the 2 on PS3 and 360, and then they made that top-down one for the... What was it? Xbox One and PS4?
So, there's
Is there one
Overlord.
called Raising Hell?
That's the port of the original. There is
a DS game, Overlord Minions.
There's Overlord 2, Overlord Dark Legend, Overlord Minions, and Overlord Fellowship of Evil.
There were 4 games.
There was
Fellowship of Evil was like a Diablo type game.
It's still Overlord,
no, it wasn't.
And it's 5 games.
It wanted to be, but it wasn't.
Most of them
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
The Minions game wasn't great either. Anyways, back to Dustin's list.
Starship Dam Ray? No idea.
I don't know what that is.
Nothing is said on that? I don't know what it is. I'm looking it up. This is the first-person horror game that kind of reminds me of, Drew, Echo Night Beyond.
The dude in this screenshot looks like the butlers in the Overwatch map.
On Starship Dam Ray?
Yeah. Like there's this dude sitting in the floor, this robot, he looks like the butler in, which map is that? It's one of the 3-point control maps. Not Paris.
Paris.
No!
Wow.
I don't need this tip.
IGN did not give, although it says IGN Middle East, so maybe it was the Middle East version, but Starship Dam Ray review, 5.3. Starship Dam Ray's suspenseful atmosphere quickly dissipates, laying bare its back design and presentation. The positives: interesting premise, initially
Did you just say the
atmospheric.
positives? Because that's good. I like that.
Positives?
It was the Oasis map.
God damn it, man.
Okay.
And then they say
Paris
it's not
had the
scary.
loud singer.
They say it's got a rubbish presentation, and it says no frills design. I'm gonna be honest with you, no frills design is a positive for me. Cut that nonsense out.
Dude,
Tired of
another one of the
flashy
screenshots looks like it has the Japanese lady with the hat and the raincoat.
Oh, the yokai?
The yokai. It looks she's all white silhouette. So
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take a.
All right, we got a giant list here. I got to get through this.
go for it.
No, you don't. We have all night, Drew.
Turkey, please.
No, I don't.
There's a game called Turkey, Please. 3DS.
Okay. Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move is digital only on 3DS.
That's the one I talked about earlier.
Okay, I thought you meant I don't know all the fucking. They put out those games like every 2 weeks. I just know Tipping Stars exists, and you can't tip stars anymore, so the whole game's fucking pointless.
Go ahead.
Ace
I don't
Attorney
know, man.
Dual Destinies is digital only. Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice is digital only. Swords and Soldiers. Don't know.
Is that the
Dylan's
sequel to
Dead
Swords and
Heat
Sorcery?
Breakers.
Dead Heat Breakers
I
is
don't
the
know.
third Dylan game, and that is.
Dylon, and
Also,
Dylon.
Swords and Soldiers may be the same game that's on PC. There's Swords and Soldiers HD, so I don't know if that's the same one or not.
Fabio on the cover.
You know that's not this
Swords
game.
and Sorcery.
That's what I said. I said sequel, Swords and Sorcery earlier. So
Dylan. All right, we said that one.
Dylon.
Sakura Samurai.
How could I forget that game? Oh my god. Okay. You're a samurai, but it's Punch-Out. And you stand kind of...
You're kind of speaking my language.
Okay, so you kind of do a map, going from one place to another. But all the battles, the idea is learning how enemies telegraph their moves. And when I say that, I mean they set it up like Punch-Out almost, but the enemies come at you from different angles, so it's like a 3D space. It's really fucking great, and I think I've only ever heard one person talk about it in any sort of meaningful way, and it was because I asked them, "Hey, you like Punch-Out? Did you like this game?" And they're like, "I love that game." That's it. I think I picked this up because they gave me a discount via gold coins or whatever.
The name of that game for some reason reminds me of the PS2 game, where at the beginning all your body parts are cut off and it's in black and white and you got to recollect them.
Oh yeah. No, this is far more cartoony. But yes, I know which one you're.
Why
talking
do I think
about.
of that game when I say? Did it have samurai in the title?
I don't think so.
What the hell was the name of that game? That game was so cool.
Way of the Samurai was the one that has the different choices.
Yeah, they made a bunch of those too.
There's 4, I think.
Yeah. There's only one of this game, and what the thing that always stuck out to me is you lose your eye at the beginning of the game, and as soon as you get it back, the game goes into color.
Color, yeah. Blood Will Tell.
That's the game. Yeah. That game was so cool.
Published by Sega, and I haven't gotten a reissue, huh?
Summer Carnival 92, a great Famicom shoot 'em up. Mysterious Murasame Castle, Famicom Zelda clone.
Okay.
Yeah, from Nintendo. I think it actually predates Zelda, potentially.
Maybe
I've been told that's a really good game.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can't
Jet
remember.
Rocket 2.
For some reason, I think I remember that game. Is it like a jetpack refueled kind of game where?
No, it looks like it's a 3D platformer.
Interesting. Okay.
What the fuck? How did I not know about any of this stuff? And apparently, the first Jet Rocket was a WiiWare game.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
All the Sega 3D titles. There's 1, physical cartridge with maybe 8 games, but the rest are digital only. The Nintendo classics to 3D games like Kid Icarus.
Oh, dude, those things were
Attack
so overpriced.
of the Friday Monsters.
Yep,
I knew
someone. Yeah, the 3D. When he's talking about this Nintendo classics, I think he's referring to the 3D classics. Excite Bike, Urban Champion.
They sold Excite Bike by itself for $20.
Is that how much that game was?
When they originally re-released all the NES games on the DS, they sold it.
No. If it was $20 it was not for the NES version of Excite Bike. It was for the 3D remake of it. And I know that sounds really stupid, but when it played in 2D, it was the NES game. And when you put the 3D slider up at all, it actually showed them building the level out to give you more depth. The Kid Icarus and the Kirby ones are kind of more basic, where they've made some small changes gameplay wise. I think it's bigger in Kid Icarus, but like they just put kind of backgrounds in. It's not as entertaining. And then Urban Champion, I think, is like fully 3D but like you can rotate the camera, but then that still requires you to play Urban Champion. So, but I think those are the only 4, and they were made by Eureka, who did the 3D Street Fighter games that I can't remember the name
I was thinking of the classic NES series on the GBA. Those were $20 for just straight up Excite Bike.
Yeah, and they weren't even proper. Like they were weird proportions.
Yeah, those are the things I think, because they were just like plain red and black and green boxes, and they were $20. And I'm like, dude, I'm not paying you $20 for Excite Bike in the year of our Lord.
Not when Mario's the same price too.
Yeah, no.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah. Crimson Shroud, short, fun D&D style game with dice rolls. X Cave 1 through 3, fun little hack and slash. Guru Men 3.
Oh, Guru Men. I remember Guru Men.
Regular version. Yeah. Regular version is very spendy in the PSP or cheap on Steam, but this one adds some stuff though. If I remember right.
Yeah, these were on PlayStation or PlayStation Portable PSP. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, well, Guru Men. Yeah, it was on PSP. I own that. But the 3DS version does add content. I believe the PC release also added the same content.
You know who made those games? It was Mastiff and Nihon Falcom.
Well, Mastiff is just the publisher.
Yeah, but Nihon Falcom
is... Yeah. Mastiff,
the
publisher of Fight Crab.
The glorious Nihon. I know it's Nippon. Leave me alone. Shut up.
Liberation Maiden, which is
they brought that back on the Switch. I think.
Oh wow. Okay, no, iOS in Japan, and then it's 3DS everywhere else.
Okay, what's the game I'm thinking of? It starts with Liberation that was put back on the Switch.
I don't think you're thinking anything of Liberation. You're probably
it even has the same character model.
Eterno Blade?
No, not Eterno Blade. That game is bad.
Yeah. There's a visual novel that's on the PS3 and Vita,
X-Blade.
but they were Japan.
What was the Atlas game with the lady that looks like the lady from Liberation Maiden?
I don't know, man, but you just said it was the same character design. I said, I don't know, and there's nothing else here.
Never mind.
That's part of the Guild 01's games. And the Guild 01 games.
Liberation Maiden was made by Grasshopper.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have never heard of this.
I mean, Suda made a lot of weird games.
So Guild...
That's true, but I've played most of them.
So Guild 01 was the compilation of video games produced by Level 5 for the 3DS, which had Liberation Maiden, Aero Porter, which is from Ute Saito. Oh my god. It's the Airport Manager game. Crimson Shroud, and Weapon Shop Doomasi. And then Guild 02, which was Attack of the Friday Monsters, Bugs vs. Tanks, and the Starship Damray.
Dude, Liberation Maiden's composer is Akira Yamaoka.
Akira Yamaoka, yeah.
Like,
it's fucking insane.
Dude, come on.
Is this something to get? What the hell?
Is this a what? You cut up there.
Is this something I need to get?
I'm probably gonna just pick up the rest of the guild games.
I mean, it
Just
looks
to
like.
have
I mean, do
them.
we even say what it is? Oh, there's a screenshot of her butt. Okay, I know what this game. No, it's like an airplane shooter.
Yeah, it's a top-down space shooter.
Looks like Macross or something.
I'm all right with that.
I see here.
Yeah, that's
Rhythm. Excuse me.
Drew got choked up by her butt.
Let me just read that.
Rhythm Heaven Megamix, digital only. Silver Falls has a couple of games in 3DS. It's weird horror style games I haven't put much time into. There's a lot of info about it. There's not a lot of info about it either. I know there's 2 other games in the series, one on the Switch and one on the Wii U. I've been meaning to check out Silver Falls.
You're talking about my
Looks
guy all wrong. He's from Silvertown.
Dude, it's like Resident Evil Silent Hill shit.
Really?
Like, I'm looking at it, yeah.
Be careful, though. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. You never know.
Yeah, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I don't know. But, like, I'm looking at it, and then...
Who remembers Countdown Vampires? Come on now, brother.
I don't know what the fuck... Okay, hold on. We need to deviate. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
You've never seen Countdown Vampires? It was Bandai Namco's version of Resident Evil.
Knock off of Resident Evil.
Oh,
vampires.
It's so
the vampires move like zombies.
All you need to do, Anthony, is go watch the intro for Countdown Vampires. Oh, holy shit!
It is very early 2000s.
Yeah, that PlayStation puppet CGI. Ooh.
Yeah, it's
right.
bad.
It's a bad game.
Also, Silver Falls seems to be. I'm looking at it. What, dude? This series is so fucking weird. So, I'm on the website, which they have. Which, by the way, it says no categories at the top. Cool. Then it's Silver Falls in basic Arial font. Official website for the Silver Falls game series. See more, and then it just pulls you down the page. Okay. Silver Falls episode prelude for Nintendo Switch.
So they put these games on the
Silver
Switch?
Falls. No, it's its own game. Silver Falls Galaxy Bound Curse for the Game Boy Color, which you can just download apparently.
So listen to this article. Silver Falls, white inside its umbra, is described as a game about a mysterious small mountain town plagued by decades of UFO activity.
Dude,
and it supports balance board.
I'm kind of in this just to fucking know what... Silver Falls Undertakers looks like goddamn E.T.
Mark Calloway.
That E.T. Like...
He was in Star Wars.
Like, it's E.T. It's E.T. from the Atari.
He fall down the hole?
Found down the hole.
Kitty go down the hole.
What the fuck is this? Okay, this is...
What is this game?
Dude, what is this series? Because it's not even one game. Now Dustin has introduced me to a world of chaos. They're like, coming soon, Silver Falls Undertaker for the Wii U. Silver Falls Gaiden for the Wii U. Silver Falls Guardians and Metal Exterminators for the 3DS. Sorry, new 3DS. Silver Falls Ghoul Busters for the 3DS. Are they out? Because you're running out of time.
Yeah.
Vicarious Brothers, which is made to look like a fucking virtual boy.
They tweeted yesterday about a game coming to the 3DS.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Alright, well, I'm into...
On April 5th, 3 Wii U and 4 3DS games are launching soon, all different styles and genres, priced to be announced soon. Thank you to everyone who supported and encouraged us to get these games onto these consoles.
Dude, what the fuck is this series? Okay.
The only person that follows this Twitter account that I know is the head of ID at Xbox.
What?
Dude, what the fuck is this? They only have 1,000 followers. Approximately. But like, what a weird thing. What a weird...
My question is if they actually put a game out.
No, I've seen. You know what? I've passed by them. They exist. Like I've seen them, and I mean, Dustin said he played a bit of it, so obviously it exists, Ken. But like,
well, I mean, it says they're coming
these...
soon, which is weird.
But like so I didn't realize it was this deep of a rabbit hole. You know what I mean?
There's
like,
literally 7 games listed on this website.
Is this going to be like, Kanye Quest, where it's actually a cult and
no? I think this is what we. I think
fucking ICP cards over here,
man.
Joker cards,
and it's like somebody just is like, all I do is build this lore of Silver Falls. Man,
coming soon to Next Expo.
Fucking Silver Falls.
All right. Last thing here, some expensive games to get digitally. Any Shin Megami Tensei game. Fire Emblem Fates Revelations is only available on the expensive special edition cartridge, so this is the best way to get the true ending of that 3-part game. Rhythm Thief. I'm probably missing a bunch, but I had to bust this email out before your recording stopped. Have a good one, guys.
Rhythm Thief is one that I have because I picked it up. Humble did like a 3DS digital download bundle a long time ago, and that's how I got that. I also got the Street Fighter 4 version for the fucking 3DS, which I played like once because I was like,
hey, Nintendo just added 3 new Genesis games to the Switch Online.
Cool. What are they?
Shining Force 2, Sonic Spinball, and Space Harrier 2.
Hey, those are some good games.
Yep.
They're decent collection, yep.
That Genesis emulator on the Switch is pretty rad, too, by the way. The sound is chef's kiss.
So I have a few things that I wanted to also bring up. I said, what's another thing we could talk about? And we've went a long time on this, but that's okay. I do want to bring these up because I did write down 6 things I wanted to bring up.
You brought notes.
Basically,
he's just gonna call us pieces of shit. These are the 6 reasons why. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
You only got 6 for me?
No.
I'm shocked.
No. I wanted to bring up awesome moments, things that you remember in games, whether it be nostalgia purposes or just something that, hey, that was really cool. Okay. And I've got 6 things here. The first one, I wrote down Fear 2 School.
Oh, yeah, the locker shaking and all that shit.
So the locker's shaking, but you remember those, it was almost like invisible ghosts that would flash occasionally and attack you. And you could shoot them and kill them. You ran into those enemies before you got to this part, and you knew what to do. And they were flashing, and I shot them, and there was a couple of them I shot, but there was one time where it flashed, and I shot, and it turned into the fucking girl. And I had to stop. I was like, I have to stop this. I'm going to have a friggin' heart attack if I continue playing this game.
Fear 2 was the highlight of that series by far.
Fear 2 is so good. And in the same vein of that, when I was a kid, I bought it day one, Resident Evil 2. I was at a friend's house. I bought it, and I took it to a friend's house. We all sat down. It was like late at night. We were playing that game. The first time those friggin' arms come out of the boarded up windows.
How old are you playing this game? Because that game was released in 1998, and I was fucking 17, 18 years old.
I was 13.
I could see that.
What, did that not scare you when you were...
Oh, I didn't say it didn't scare me, but at that point I've been playing those kind of games so long that you just kind of expect it.
I mean,
I was in high school when the first Resident Evil came out.
That was what,
95, 96, I think. 95 or 96, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in high school. I was driving when that game came out.
I've talked about this before, but I want to mention it again. Demon Souls. The first time I played Demon Souls, like that whole thing was an experience. Because nobody knew what the hell Demon Souls was whenever it came out. And it was like one of this like weird, like you discover stuff on your own kind of thing. And I was talking with my roommates about it and stuff like that. It was crazy. But I remember we were trying to cheese the game, and you could put your summoning sign in like a corner somewhere. And I was like, okay, I put it in this specific corner. I'd be on the cell phone with my roommate. Okay, go to that place so we can co-op together. Okay. And I was sitting there waiting, and it said, you're being summoned. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going into this game. But all of a sudden, I had this giant towel thing on my head, and I'm in a room that I don't know where I'm at. And there's a dude that walks in, and it's another player, and he's fighting me. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I fought this guy. I got killed. And then I went back to my game. I was like, what the hell was that? Was that like a glitch or something? Later on in the game, I go back to that room, and I'm fighting the dude with the towel on his head. That's when I had the realization I was somebody's boss fight in the game. Never seen that before in my life. Blew me away. The next one, once again, I was a kid when I played it. The first time you find out that Master Miller is actually Liquid Snake, I was like, oh my God. When I was a kid, I felt so betrayed.
That's funny.
And I was actually activating Metal Gear rather than turning it off.
Gotta get them key cards, baby. Gotta freeze
That's
the
right.
card and heat the card and
then get back in time.
yeah. Mr. President.
Oh, man. The second and the last one, I wrote down Heavy Rain. There's a specific moment in Heavy Rain that to this day I was like, that was one of the coolest sequences ever.
Jason?
There's a lot dumb with that game. There's a lot
We
dumb
are
with that game.
Americans, yes.
Yeah. Nam and Jaden.
That game is nothing but a giant plot hole because they just mislead you for the sake of misleading you. They don't even cover it well. It's so bad.
It's better than Indigo Prophecy. It's better than Indigo Prophecy.
I didn't say it wasn't.
So here's the thing that it actually they had to cut a lot of stuff out of Heavy Rain, and that's the reason why the plot holes are there.
They had to cut it out because they couldn't finish it, or they had to cut it out because it wasn't allowed. Genuine question.
Cut it out. No, they had to cut it out. So originally, Ethan was supposed to have like a psychic connection to the killer, which was the reason why Ethan would sometimes randomly just wake up and find himself in the middle of the street somewhere. And it was like, what? Like, and he left that in for some reason, but they didn't do the whole psychic connection thing.
Yeah, fucking Jesus.
But there's a part in Heavy Rain close to the end where Nam and Jaden is trying to desperately figure out who the killer is, and he's going through the sunglasses with the VR thing, and during that time, the camera is facing Norman, and you're constantly going through the VR stuff. So you're looking at the files, you're looking at all this stuff. What you're not paying attention to is Norman, because in the game, when he's wearing the sunglasses and the VR thing, it's affecting his mind essentially. And so the player itself is so focused on looking through the files, trying to find the right location, that kind of stuff, and cross-referencing everything. If you look at the model of Norman while he's doing that, you slowly start to see a little trickle of blood come down his face from where his eyes are, like underneath the sunglasses. And when I realized, when I was playing the game, it was me and my roommate were playing the game together, and I was going through it. And then my roommate was like, dude, look at his fucking eyes. They're bleeding. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. That moment, I was like, that's a really good touch. Because a lot of people may have never even saw that if they didn't stop and take a look at the actual character model. And I was like, I have to give that game credit for that moment. And then the last moment, Anthony will understand what I'm talking about. Because I think me and him are the only people that actually play the game. Get Even. In Get Even.
Ken, have you not played Get Even?
Played through the first hour and a half. Never went back to it.
God damn.
Oh man.
It's
Get
great.
Even has
Layers.
some of the best sound design in a video game. There is a part in that game where you're hearing chanting, and I can't remember what it morphs into. It originally sounds like people are chanting the party, the party, the party, but when you get closer to it, it morphs into what they're actually saying, which is like, I think it's somebody's name. I can't remember, but I was like, holy shit. That is both haunting and scary, but it's also fucking brilliant. I've never seen that before.
And that game is such
trying to build tension.
And that game is so weird because it's like, here's a corner gun. And then you're like, okay. Yeah. Like, here's the walk around segment again. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And then published by Namco, of all things. You're just like, what the fuck happened here? It's such a bizarre game, but it's really good. One of my favorite parts of that is go ahead. Filled with moments. Because, like, one of my favorite ones is when you're in the graveyard and the pop song starts playing. Signal bars. And it's just like, it's such a weird experience. Yeah, I love that game. That's another one of those soundtracks by Olivier, whose name I cannot pronounce. Yeah. Who does soundtracks for a lot of the games we like, and who did soundtrack for Dying Light 2 and Streets of Rage 4 and Greedfall and
the soon-to-be major motion picture Streets of Rage.
Oh God, yeah, we'll talk about that on the fucking main podcast.
I wonder if he'll do the music for it.
There better be some chicken on the ground, turkey leg.
Yeah, I'm Get Even's such a bizarre. Get Even's one of those games where it's like, I don't want you to know anything, just play it.
Yeah,
because while I don't think it'll
get the
ruin,
twist,
well, that I wouldn't.
It ruins a lot of the moments, though.
Yes, but I would, but like, you know, me going into detail about something isn't going to ruin the experience for you, other than the fact that they don't repeat themselves really. So, like, if you're expecting the whole game to be that, it's not. I don't know. What a bizarre game to exist, I guess.
Nobody ever talks about it except you guys.
Yeah. I think we're the only people who actually play it.
Like I said, I played about an hour and a half. I think I made it to the parking garage where you got the night vision.
Oh,
I think I stopped there.
That game gets way better. And like, it's good, but it
really
gets progressively better.
I have so many games on my backlog that...
Yeah, I totally understand that too.
But then again, at least I'm not Drew.
You can knock out Get Even. You can knock out Get Even in probably...
Max. 6 hours max.
You can knock out Sonic the Hedgehog in like 2 hours, Drew, but you've never played that.
I have no desire to.
Let me tell you about the 7 Chaos Emeralds and the possible 14-minute video.
Drew has never had the nightmare with the drowning music playing. And then you watch him die. And it's traumatic.
It makes the pop sound of the last bubble coming out too. What?
It's so traumatic.
Well, I didn't expect us to go into these.
Do you guys have any moments?
I got a couple. I guess we should have said spoiler warning, but whatever. One of them is just a very weird moment. I love the game Mystical Ninja starring Goemon for the N64, and that game has a lot of like amazing music. It's probably one of the best N64 soundtracks. It's a really great 3D adventure, like Zelda-like game. But there's these brief moments where they decide to just lean on ambient noise. And it's one of the few times like you feel really lost somewhere. There's these gates that, like, if you go through the gate, it'll transport you to the island in the middle of the ocean. You're nowhere, and you just hear like seagulls and the waves crashing. And it's such a bizarre thing to have in a video game that's so bombastic with its like big poppy music like, throughout the entire thing, and then there's just these brief moments where they're just like, no sound. And I think that's the reason why it stands out, is because like every other video game needed sound of some sort. Like if it's going to be silent, it's going to be silent the whole time. But no, like this is like a game that, or it doesn't have like background music in the normal sense, right? It's got like more of an ambient soundtrack. No, this has like a full on soundtrack and then decides just ambient noise. It's bizarre. If people have played it, they know what I'm talking about. The Big Tree, I think, has like a light ambient track, but just these really bizarre moments in that game. In more story aspect is like, spoilers for Watch Dogs, because most people don't care and haven't played it. Or haven't played it. This might be the seller for you. Watch Dogs isn't the greatest GTA clone ever. It's just not. It does some really interesting things. It talks a lot of dark subject matter. And you play as a guy who is not a good person. And it's not comic relief like GTA characters. One of my favorite moments, and it's kind of the last section of the game. So again, spoilers, but you find out the reason why Aiden's family has been targeted. Why Aiden was targeted and why the mob killed his family. You've gone through multiple people, and all these people were connected, but you really didn't know why you were having to travel through these like different groups. And it's because the mayor was accidentally caught on camera killing a hooker during sex. The mob had it and was blackmailing him. Then, like, another criminal stole that video from the mob and was using it to extort the mob, because he had proof that they were extorting the mayor. And you kind of traveled down this path, but like you were trying to steal from the mob in the beginning story of the game, like they showed in the cutscene. And so they thought you had saw this information and was trying to silence you. And the look on Aiden Pierce's face is like, oh my god, this one thing was it. That's why I didn't even see it. And you're just like, fuck, like I just did this. And then the bad guy's like, you can't kill me. I'm behind bulletproof glass. You can shoot this all day. And the way you figure out how to kill the guy, it pops up, but it's just this weirdly violent, everything that you've learned up until now is going to pay off. Your big hacking stuff. And then in the final moments of that game, they take it all away from you. And you're forced to drive through a city that's working against you using the same hacks. And it's so brilliant. So when I don't like Watch Dogs 2 and I don't like Watch Dogs Legion, it's because this game at least understood how to tell an interesting story. Because I either play games for story or gameplay. I prefer both. But I can get through a bad game with a good story. I don't think Watch Dogs is a bad game, but like, god damn, that story elevates it so much more than it really deserves. And then there's a bunch of extra content. But like, I love that story, and nothing gets as dark. I mean, there's some parts of Legion that gets dark for sure. Ken knows what I'm referring to. But
that shit's fucked up.
Yeah, the house is, all I'm going to say is, like, the house in Watch Dogs Legion might be one of the most fucked up things I've seen in a video game that's not just pure horror.
And then the fact that I took a selfie with it.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I mean, like, the problem is with, like, moments sometimes, like, Nier and Nier Automata are just filled with moments. Like, there's no point, just play those games, you'll understand. But Dark Cloud 2... Dark Cloud 2 has a time travel plot, and like running into characters from the first game, even though they're like sort of tangentially related, was neat. But the thing that got me the most is when you meet the main character Max's mom, who's from the future, and having to kind of realize like the family can never kind of be one again because she has to be in the future and his dad has to be in the present. I don't know, there's a lot of touching moments, and like finding out that the villains are never like the main villains. It's always like this twist. Like finding out that the Dark Genie in the first game is not the actual genie, which I know sounds weird, but it's like not the actual evil character is what it really should be. It's so fascinating. You go through these this story of how this guy went through heartbreak and it turned him evil, and you go through it slowly, like picture by picture by picture down this like hallway. And then I honestly, the best moment in any video game ever, in my opinion, is, and it's probably because it was like one of the first things that like really stuck out to me in a video game. So it's biased from youth, but in Final Fantasy VI, Setzer walking down the stairs, or running up the stairs. Now the stairs are different. It's running downstairs, I believe. Anyways, running on the stairs, and he keeps turning around to tell you about his friend, because you don't. This is spoilers for Final Fantasy VI. The world has ended, and you're regrouping after like a suicide attempt and everything. Like, it's crazy. You're regrouping to take down the evil guy who ruined the world. But you don't have an airship anymore because that's gone. So Setzer has decided that you're going to take his old lover's ship that he buried in like her tomb with her. And he tells you the story of what happened. And yeah, having it fully acted would probably be, you know, a little bit more emotional. But it's the fact that this sprite, you're moving down these stairs very quickly, like these sprites are, and then Setzer turns around, tells you a bit more of the story. Like, he just keeps, like, wanting to explain himself. And, like, this is the character that's supposed to be kind of a shithead. And, man, like, it's brilliant. I know a lot of people talk about the opera scene, but, like, the opera scene, in my head, it doesn't stand out as much as that moment of just, like, this character kind of, like, remembering a person very dear to them. Like, I've never seen that in a video game done as well as Final Fantasy VI. Ken, it's your turn. You're up. You have to come up with some stuff.
I have to come up with stuff on the fly.
When I win in Overwatch. All right. Well, thanks.
No, there's nothing about that. Drew knows me long enough to know that these will be old man stories, but the first time that I finished the Light World in Link to the Past and realized there was basically a whole other fucking video game.
Oh, yeah.
That just blew my friggin' mind. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's a whole other game. To my arcade days, before there was the internet, before there were, everybody knowing everything, hearing constantly about all the rumors of Mortal Kombat 2 and what could be done in that game, and going to the arcade one day and seeing somebody do the Kintaro fatality with Shang Tsung, where he transforms into him, which was just supposedly a rumor and a lie, and watching somebody doing it and begging that person to tell me how they did it. Like, how do you not remember something like that now is available on the internet before the game comes out? I can't have a conversation without talking about Metal Gear, but the scene in 4 where you're flying in the chopper back into Shadow Moses is one of the biggest.
That whole act. That whole Shadow Moses act is one of the most.
With the song playing in the helicopter, like, I will never forget that. Yeah, I will never forget that.
The best is yet to come.
Yep.
The amount of detail. They put all the pictures of the developers back as ghosts.
Yeah. Like, that whole sequence of walking through there and
the original audio playing.
Yeah, the flashbacks and all that stuff, and you're just like, fuck. They should have never made 5. Like, this is how it should have ended.
Yeah.
At least 5 wasn't about Solid. At least. So. I'm trying to think if there was other ones.
I have one that's a cheap one, but because everybody I think that's played it feels the same way, but Shadow of the Colossus is ending. What a brilliant way to finish that game. And it made a little bit more sense to me, because I think a lot of people jumped in on Shadow of the Colossus because I think it was just more appealing to people. But, like, I had played Ico previously. So the ending of Shadow of the Colossus, I was like, holy shit. Like, is this a prequel? Like, brilliant games. But yeah, like that ending is awesome. I mean, even the ending for Ico, or Eco, or whatever the fuck people call it, where they wash up on the beach. I don't know. There's just something like about the way that team's stuff came out, like just fairy tale-ish.
How can you have this conversation without talking about the ending of Earthbound?
Yeah.
The part where you go back through time.
Weird though.
Yeah, but the part at the end where you go back through time and you see your former self and like you tell your former self that you're too busy to hang out with it. It's just
so Earthbound Beginnings, the ending of that. So like it does its credits roll and stuff, and then it's just a screen of a guy at the telephone, and it's like clearly the dad calling, and it's like such a weirdly uncomfortable. It's like pick up kid. There's more to do or something like that, and like it's clearly opening for a sequel, but that sequel never really happens because Earthbound is kind of a remake of Mother. Mother 2 is kind of like a retelling of Mother 1, but also a sequel. It's very, very bizarre. But yeah, like, and then the music that's playing is kind of goes into like a static sound.
Yeah, the battle with Gygus and all that stuff is just.
Oh no, that one's the music in that is way better. But like, I'm just saying, like, it's a constant like hum sound, and just there's a picture of a guy on a telephone. It says, "I know that boy is home. Come on, son, answer the phone. Something new has come up," and that's it.
What about when you find out, Drew, who the real villain is in Blue Dragon?
I haven't played Blue Dragon fully, so I don't know.
I called it. I called it in the first episode.
It's so funny, though, who it really is.
I have to pay more attention, and then when I play it.
It's so stupid, Anthony. It's so stupid.
It's just dumb.
Okay.
It's dumb. I did it as a joke, and they come to find out it was real. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because you fight who you think the big bad is, and then it's like, no, here's the real villain, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? This is the real villain?
Yeah. Although I have to say, that final boss music.
That final boss music is fucking slamming, son.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I didn't get tired of chicken steak after 45 hours in that game, but I did not.
Mm.
Then that final song for that final boss is just, whew.
Got the organ playing.
Man, that game, I love that game. I don't care. And I know you hate it now, Drew, but I still think the chopping off the hand of the security guard in Alone in the Dark was one of the coolest mechanics at the time.
Okay, so when you say chopping off the hand, is it to use like a security card
or
like fingerprints?
Yeah. Like, because it didn't like lean you to that at all. And his body's just laying there, and I'm like, well, I've got a sword. What if I just cut his hand off? Like, so shit, you can do that.
So that was a thing in the original Shadow Man that I remember, is like you're in the prison, there's a bunch of decapitated bodies, and you're like, that guy has a key card, but his hand won't let go of it, so you just
what about in God of War?
Arm, and then you use his...
What about in God of War when you put the dude in the cage, and you gotta burn him to solve that puzzle?
I thought you were going to talk about where he uses Apollo's head as a flashlight.
Well, there is that too, yeah.
Oh, God!
That
or
game...
he beats Hermes, he cuts off Hermes' legs.
Oh my God, that game is...
Very angry.
The game is very angry, but it was very clever at the time.
Oh, man.
Chronicles of Angry, man.
You know what? I like all three of those original games. I did not care for Ascension, and 2018 is one of the best games on the PlayStation 4. So... 4 out of 5 ain't bad.
The thing is that Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta is actually really good too.
Oh no, I forgot about those. You're right; those are very good.
No, those are real good.
Yeah. So no, 6 out of 7. I like Ascension story. I just don't like the pacing and the way it plays. I don't know.
Never played it.
It has to do with like the Sisters of Fate, I think, if I remember correctly. It was not memorable at all. Not like the other three.
Super Paper Mario. That's my last one that I'll bring up. Is Super Paper Mario. There's a lot of dark moments for like a Nintendo game with Mario in it specifically. like a little girl turning to a spider monster, which is just like the sound it makes and stuff. It's just like fucked up. Then you fight a giant nerd who likes weird video games and anime and stuff. He's a chameleon.
Nintendo.
Who wants your butterfly helper friend. But the real thing is like, and you watch a world get destroyed, blah blah blah. The real thing is like the background story it tells you about the villain Count Bleck slowly reveals itself to what actually has happened. And the way that game ends, it leaves you without your butterfly companion, which is your like the thing that you use to point towards the screen to get information on enemies and stuff. So the end game, you finish the game, which has like an RPG-esque element to it, right? And it has a story, but then you can just keep playing and going back to all these other places that have changed and referenced the fact that the main game is kind of finished, and you have to go back to the nerd and buy his replica of your butterfly back. And it's just like the whole game is so absolutely bizarre, and people hated it, and we got sticker star because people hated it. So I blame everybody on that.
That's fine.
Sticker star was not the worst one.
Which one's the worst one?
Color Splash. Color Splash is writing. The Paper Mario games always had great writing. Color Splash, the problem with it was that the battles didn't matter.
Well, I'm pretty sure the new one, the battles don't matter either. Battles didn't matter in Sticker Star, and you wasted your stickers getting into battles. Why would I get into a battle to waste my stickers? This is how a question I ask myself in real life. I'm sorry. Just the idea.
I think you're running. I was gonna say, I think you're running into the late night. You're getting crazy now.
I mean,
it's freaking 9:30. It's almost Drew's bedtime. Street lights are on.
Yeah.
when you wake up at 5 a.m. like I do.
Hey, I get it. I'm not giving you a hard time. I don't get up till 8, so.
Well, this was a chaotic episode of Phoenix Down. Then that's what I'm hearing.
No, I think it was a good one.
Hey, when I ain't got to be the host, I'm all for it. I don't have to deal with all this shit.
Alright, so I'm going to look into Jet Rocket. I'm definitely going to look into Silver Falls. That sounds like it's a fucking time. And then all those stupid guild games.
Do I need to reinstall Get Even and deal with that at some point?
That might be, honestly, I would play it, or you know what? I think I'll play it again. Drew, I think you need to play it again. We'll have to do like a Phoenix Down episode. It's not long. You can finish it in like 2 days.
Well, if I had time to play it in 2 days, that's always the kicker.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I gotta fit it in between
but
my
if it's
Overwatch
Phoenix Down game, that's all I do play.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't played much of anything in about a week. Like truly nothing.
I think we should do it just because that game is fucking great. And like you pointing out stuff would probably be interesting to like go back and try to see stuff like that I missed.
I will install it and see where I get to, and I will let you know. I don't have anything I'm playing right now, so.
Okay. All right. Well, then yes. It's my answer. Play it.
I will install it.
If you have it, install it. That goes for everybody. If you have it, install it. It's been in
I do own it. I know I own it, so I have to install it. All right.
It is really good.
I've got to get some food in me and get to bed. I'm sure Drew's ready for bed, right?
Yes.
So I'll ask you after we're done. You go ahead and do your thing.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody listening. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, I am at DML Fury. Matt. I always say Matt is at REMGS. Matt is at REMGS. He's in Iceland right now, but
ask him
you
how
can
Iceland
follow
is.
him as well. I will ask him. It's just very green. Ken, you're at ZTGD.
At me.
Anthony at Complacent Robot. And the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. But, yeah. Oh, emails. If you would like to send us an email, it's drew@ztgd.com. But that's pretty much it. We are going to finish Control next week, go through both the DLCs, and then we're going to move on to AI, the Insomnium files. But, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, can't think of anything else, so we're going to wrap it up. Until next time, I am Drew.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Ken. I thought he was going.
There it is. I knew it.
Are you done?
And Ken.
Are you done? What am I doing?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
No. Well,
Bye.
She